Welcome to this short video on Can Fish Drown? It's an interesting subject. I'm Tom Baxter from Betta Fish News Club, coming at you, and this is going to be a really interesting article because it's something that seems simple, but like most things aren't always as they seem. So we're going to go over the fundamentals of fish biology and see if fish can indeed drown. So let's imagine a scenario. You're responsible for doing a poll of 100 people on the streets of Kansas City. And your question is, can fish drown? So how many people do you think will answer yes or no? Well, they did a similar study, and I think it was about 70% of people said no. So it's not a common thing that people know about. The short answer to it is kind of CUC. Fish do need a supply of oxygen to live. They're not that different than you or your pet dog. So that's why you're going to see in the case of Betta, they actually go up for the air to breathe, as they have a special kind of organ we're going to talk about. So most things in the world do need oxygen. It's a mixing chemical. It can help to transport different good nutrients and minerals to the body, and it can help fish process things in their internal organs. Because fish do have similar organs to us, most of them. Their heart and circulatory system is a lot like ours. The main difference is they have one body part that we don't, which is the gills. One way that they're different is these gills. They're so small, the oxygen molecules that these gills process, we can't even see them. So that means that these gills process to get the oxygen out of the water. So it's easier for us to breathe than it is for fish to process oxygen. But it's not a big deal because they don't need as much as we do, so it all kind of works out. Fish can drown in water though, it's true. But instead of drowning, it'd be more like us suffocating, not getting enough air. So that's why they constantly have to be in motion. It's not the same as drowning, it's more like suffocating. It's more like us suffocating. So we're going to stay with the analogy of fish can drown just because it's easier to say and makes more sense. There is a ton of different species, but most of them have gills except a few have labyrinth organs. There is also another group called lungfish that's a smaller family that actually breathe like humans. They need air. So we're not going to talk about these today, but there is a group called lungfish. Betta fish do have labyrinth organs, which means it gulps air from the water's surface. They're quite fascinating. Most fish though have real gills, and they're on the side of their head, about 4 each on the side of their head. Their gills are quite fascinating. They have a slit called an operculum. It opens and closes and pushes water through into the gills, and then is processed to get the oxygen. So they do need a lot of water to pass through to get oxygen. So that's why if this process slows down, they could run short and drown. So oxygen is a finite element, especially in a fish tank. So it's like air, we take it for granted, but in the fish tank, it is a numbered thing. The magic number is about the 2 parts per million mark for a good oxygen level in a tank. So if you have too many fish in a tank, the law of supply and demand says that you can run out of oxygen. It's always a bad idea to have too many fish in a tank, but it can really starve them for oxygen, which is a really bad thing. That's why you want to have less fish in a tank than more. You can have an algae outbreak, which can cause a low oxygen level. It can also cause bacteria and harmful toxins to build. So you really want to make sure you don't overfeed your fish, because this is usually why you'd have too much algae. Your water could also be too hot. High water temperature means that it would have less oxygen, so it'd be harder for them to breathe. So you really want to have a good water temp. And along with water temps, you also want to have a good water flow. This means that the crashing, splashing of water flow is a natural process. It can help with oxygen. And you want to have a good filter system to move the water around so that the water filters through the tank and creates oxygen. You also need a good surface area so that the water can circulate, can splash, and that's why you want to have, especially with bettas, but most fish you want to have a good surface area of a couple inches so that they can swim, play, and breathe. Waste overload is a huge problem, and it can also kill your fish pretty easily. It can also lower oxygen levels to unsafe levels, so you want to have a good filter and regular water changes. Keep the tank clean and your fish will last a long time. Another good solution is plants. They boost oxygen naturally. One thing you need to remember is to put lights or have correct lightings when you have these plants, because it will help them photosynthesize. They'll take the CO2, turn it into oxygen. It helps the process so that the plants won't use as much oxygen and the fish get more of it. Chemicals are quite necessary for a tank's health, but they can change the chemistry and lower oxygen levels. So a good air pump can circulate the water properly, so it can mix chemicals, but always make sure that you are doing your due diligence when using any chemical in your tank. Thanks for watching this quick video. We have a ton of free goodies for you at our site, betafishnews.club. I'm Tom Baxter, and please stay tuned. We're going to publish a lot of videos. We publish articles daily, great beta care guides, how to choose a tank. Please post your favorite bit of information, and if you want to, please share what fish you have and your fish name in the comments. If you want to throw a picture down there, that'd be great. Thanks very much.